Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to clear away all the smoke and mirrors surrounding personal finance. Let's just dive right into decoding Canada's actual income ladder using the latest figures so we can see exactly where you truly stand.
I want you to start by doing a quick favor for me. Right now, just quietly to yourself, ask where you think your income ranks in Canada. Seriously, try to picture your exact rung on the ladder. Got it? Because if you're like most people taking in this explainer, you probably just underestimated yourself by quite a margin.
And honestly, here's the fascinating psychological trap. Almost nobody believes they're anywhere near the top. It is incredibly easy to feel behind when you're comparing yourself to the neighbor with that brand new SUV, or the friend who just totally renovated their kitchen. But once you look at the actual hard data, your position might look completely different from the story playing in your head.
Okay, Section 1, the income illusion. Let's look at flat numbers versus reality.
So the very first trap Canadians fall into is treating income as just one flat number, usually relying on the mathematical average. Think of the national average like a row of kids standing in height order. If you have a few giant outliers, like your downtown Toronto bankers or Vancouver tech workers, they basically act like the extremely tall kids in the room. They pull the whole height average upward, making everyone else seem shorter than they really are, which completely distorts the typical Canadian experience.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why we have to change our metrics. To actually clear the fog, we need to look at the median. The median represents the true middle of the road. It's the person standing exactly in the center of our lineup. Half earn more, half earn less. And crucially, this number doesn't get distracted by those giant outliers standing way down at the far end of the room. What's really wild here is the sheer scale of the distortion. Notice the massive gap between these two groups. The median individual income in Canada is $62,000, but the average? It gets pushed significantly higher, all the way up to $85,000, entirely by that relatively small group of high earners. If you're only looking at the $85K average, you're literally looking at an illusion.
So, say you make $70,000 a year, and you constantly feel behind. Well, the story shifts right here. Statistically speaking, you are already above the true middle. You're actually ahead of more than half of working Canadians. Changing your benchmark from the average to the median completely changes the emotional temperature of how you view your own success.
Moving on to Section 2, climbing the ladder. Let's see what happens as the income staircase gets a bit narrower.
So here are the exact rungs for the top earners in the country. To hit the top 10% as an individual, you need about $145,000, and for a household, it's $255,000. Now, while these spreadsheet numbers sound incredibly rich, and on paper, they absolutely are, daily life for these households often tells a much messier, way more stressful story.
Which brings us to Section 3, the squeezed middle. Why so many top earners are feeling completely ordinary.
This is where a household, let's say a nurse married to a tech manager, can sit firmly in the top 10% nationwide but still feel perfectly ordinary. Why is that? Well, just look at the daily pressures. Between 5% mortgage renewals just eating away at paychecks, soaring grocery bills that seem to have developed a second personality, and massive childcare costs rivaling a second rent, ordinary Canadian life has become tremendously expensive. So even with a top-tier bank account, things can feel incredibly tight. It's not a failure of character, it's just the math of modern living.
And what about the very top, the top 1%? For an individual, that starts around $320,000 and averages around $600,000. We tend to imagine private jets and yachts, right? But the reality is we're mostly talking about stressed professionals. Doctors, corporate lawyers, senior managers, people with overloaded calendars and terrible sleep. They aren't movie villains living on private islands. It is a very large salary, absolutely, but it is still just a salary.
Oh, and then taxes enter the room to remind you that income has a hard ceiling. In places like Ontario, once you reach that top bracket, your combined tax rate actually pushes above 53%. That means more than half of your next hard-earned dollar simply disappears before you even get to touch it. Earning more at this level can honestly feel a bit like pushing against sandpaper.
All right, Section 4, the tap
versus the lake. Let's look at the absolutely critical difference between income and wealth.
Guys, this is literally the biggest paradigm shift to take away from our explainer today. Income is a tap. Wealth is the lake. Income is merely the tap showing what flows into your life this year. But wealth is the lake showing what you've actually managed to collect and keep over time. You can have a super strong tap, but if the water keeps running straight through the drain, your lake is going to stay dry.
Let's look at a practical example. Compare a high-earning Toronto condo owner drowning in loans, so that's a high tap but a totally dry lake, with a retired Burnaby teacher drawing a modest pension but sitting in a $3 million paid-off bungalow. They have a modest tap but an overflowing lake. When you look at actual net worth, the teacher with the average salary is the real millionaire here.
Section 5, where real wealth hides. Let's look at what's been hiding in plain sight.
That Burnaby teacher perfectly illustrates the hidden story of Canadian wealth. The average Canadian household net worth is around $520,000. But check out the breakdown here. A massive 70% of that is locked inside bricks, mortar, and home equity. It's real wealth for sure, but you can't exactly buy groceries with it.
And these numbers only get more extreme depending on your situation. Whether it's the $775,000 average net worth in British Columbia or the staggering $1.4 million average for households that have both a home and a workplace pension, the data proves a very specific reality. Canadians are typically home rich, but they are absolutely not cash rich. And zooming out gives us an even wilder perspective. If you have a steady job and a home in Canada, you aren't just doing well locally. Based on median global wealth, you are sitting in the top few percent of the entire world. It's a local comparison inside a global reality. It's a hard fact to actually feel when you're just looking at your neighbor's fancy new car, but globally speaking, you have likely won the lottery.
Ultimately, it's the invisible background wealth builders doing the heavy lifting. Programs and accounts like TFSAs, RRSPs, and the CPP, these are the actual tools that shape what you keep in your lake. But remember the golden rule of this explainer. None of that machinery works if every single dollar leaves your tap as fast as it arrives.
True richness really just boils down to the gap between what you earn and what your ego tells you to spend. Close that gap and you build a lake. Ignore it and you'll stay dry forever, regardless of your income. So I'll leave you with this final vital question. When you look at your own life, are you comparing yourself to the right mathematical number or just to the wrong neighbor? Think about that and I'll catch you in the next one.